Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your patience. My name is Sheila Wright, and I just want to welcome you here this evening. We apologize that things are going a little later than we planned. How many of you know we've been dealing with a serious cold freeze lately, and it has impacted our dear councilman, but he is coming. He's here. And they're taking care of his throat so he can come and give you a wonderful address, okay? So thank you for your patience. Let's give ourselves a hand for coming out in this cold tonight. So what we're gonna do in the interest of time is we're gonna move forward with the invocation. We've asked our very own Cleveland Housing Court Judge W. Monet Scott to do the invocation. Please give her a hand, y'all. Watch the court, Judge. We don't want to be in contempt. Thank you so much.
Praise God, because I was voluntold to do this at the 12th hour. So we're going to bow our heads. FYI, I'm not a pastor. Here's our handsome councilman coming down. Assalamu alaikum. Praise God. Heavenly Father, we ask that you give us guidance today as we go forth. And we hear a word of wisdom from our councilman of Ward 7, Councilman Basheer Jones. We ask that you continue to bless Ward 7, continue to give us guidance as we praise and worship you. Continue to give us strength, encouragement, wisdom. As we ask that the Holy Spirit be loosed in this meeting, this gathering, we ask everything in Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you. That was pretty good for just being asked a few minutes ago, right? She might have another profession, preacher. No? Okay, Judge. So as we move through the agenda again, I want to welcome you and thank you for coming out tonight. We're getting ready to prepare for a musical selection, but before we do, first, let's give a hand that the councilman has joined us. He's here in the building, y'all. I'd also like to take a moment and recognize any elected officials that we have in the house tonight. Can we have any elected officials please stand and be recognized? Judge Scott, I know you're here. Okay, thank you very much. So next, what we're going to go to is a musical selection. Mr. Brandon Landrum. Give him a hand, y'all. Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you for having me for this wonderful occasion and in observance of Black History Month. Give another round of applause for the councilman and for yourselves. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, God who has brought us thus far on the way, God who has by thy might led us into the light, where the bright dream of our bright star is cast. Lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met thee. Lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. Shadowed beneath thy hand, may we forever stand. True to our God, true to our native land. God bless you.
Thank you. All right, everyone. So in the spirit of time, we know who you came to see here tonight. I'm going to invite our dear councilman to come to the stage. Give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
What you may or may not know is that he's been sitting for I don't know how many days in budget hearings, out still serving the community, dealing with a sore throat, getting on us who have projects in his ward to get it together. So I really appreciate him being here tonight, and you're in for a special treat. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon. Good evening. Good evening. You know, you seem so far away. If you're in the back, I'm asking that you come forward if you can. Can you come forward, please? Come on. Come on forward. Because some of our guests, they have to leave, I wanted to do this part first. First and foremost, we thank the Creator for another day of life, and we're thankful to be here. I'm thankful to be here with you, and it's a pleasure. And before I get into some of the great things that we are doing, I first wanted to say a big thank you to some very special people. As you and I both know, there's no way that we can be successful in this work without help. You agree with that? That in order for us to be successful as a community, it's going to take all of us working together. Do you agree with that? There's not one person. I had like 5 people move, huh? Everybody else was looking at me like I'm crazy. Yeah, we can't move as one until we move as one, right? Necessary. So what I want to do is I want to give away a few awards. What I'm hoping is that not only is this State of the Ward address, but it also becomes like an award show, too. An award show. Because there's some very special people that are doing some great things in our community. And you know, one of our habits is we complain more than we give love. And if you were like me, you mourned the death of Kobe Bryant. And I thought about it, that there's some people who have an impact on us that we have to get into the habit of saying thank you before they take their last breath. Do you agree? We have to get into the habit of being grateful, of giving love. And that's what I want to do tonight. I want to give some love tonight. All right? So the first person that I would like to give love to is someone who has been a mother for me. When I was younger, these two amazing people they would take young people from the neighborhood and they drove us to a place called Detroit. Judge, you heard of Detroit before? And we would go to the African American Museum. And that is the reason why I went to Morehouse and my degree was African American Studies. It was a result of just, you never know what a small seed can do into the mind and hearts of young people. So I'm so thankful for her. And not only that, but she used to be the safety director for the city of Cleveland. And you all should know her. Her and her husband are the founders of the Renaissance homes on Huff. How many of you seen those big, beautiful homes on Huff? Well, her and her husband are the reason that it came into fruition. The first award that I like to give out is to someone I consider a mother, and that is Miss Carolyn Allen. Please make a round of applause for her. That's it. I love you, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. She's still jazzy, too. This next gentleman, who I'm very excited, honestly, man, the work that we're doing here in Ward 7, if you see any type of growth, this guy is one of the major reasons why you see it. And I had the chance to spend some time with him and his family, and the reason why I wanted to hurry up and do this, because every Friday night, him and his family, they have dinner, and he doesn't miss it for nothing. So he came here in hopes to rush away real quick, and I wanted to make sure I honored that. When you look at the work that's being done in what they call Midtown, you see all this growth that's happening right around us. A lot of this has to do with the director of Midtown, and that is Director Jeff Epstein. Thank you so much. Love you, man. Love you. Thank you, man. Thank you so much. Thank you. Sweet. Go on. This is another gentleman that we could not achieve this work without this guy. And not only is he a director, but he's very patient with me, because I asked him to do things that he say cannot be done. But some way and form, he makes it happen. And anyone will tell you that if you are in politics and you want to work with a certain community organization, there's one that is the very best, and that is Famiko's Foundation. Famiko's Foundation has been doing work in this community for a very long time. Sister Harrietta was her name. She started in Ward 7. A Catholic nun, I believe she was. Yes? Yeah? A Catholic nun, and she came to the heart of our neighborhood, and her impact is still being felt today. What I'm hoping is that you and I can get into the habit of saying thank you before people leave, man. You cannot be successful in life if you're not grateful. You can't say I'm grateful to God but not grateful to people. It don't work like that. The way that you show your gratefulness to God is by showing your gratefulness to people. Very important. So I want to say thank you to Director John Analifo, man. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Director. And Director Analifo was a chief back home in Nigeria. I don't know if you know that, but I could tell he was by the way that he talks to me. This next resident of Ward 7 is a superstar, man. He's a superstar. Ever since I was younger, and many of you, when you were younger, you would turn on the television and you would see this person on TV. And you was like, goodness gracious, man, look at this guy. Always fresh, always fly, always got they call it the ace deuce, I think they call it. Is that what they call it, the ace? Cock deuce, ace deuce, something like that. But I didn't even know he was a resident until some years ago, until I was driving down, I ain't gonna tell you the street, and see these big, beautiful gardens, you know? And I just appreciate it because media has been a tool to suppress Black and brown people. Media has been used for that for a very long time. And it's imperative that we have people in media that when we look on the television, we want to be able to see ourselves. And I'm going to tell you, man, Harry Boomer has been a person that has been very successful in media for a very long time, have not forgot where he came from. And I'm going to tell you right now, he's a resident of Ward 7. Please give a round of applause to Mr. Harry Boomer. Thank you. I love you. Thank you, man. Thank you for your work, man. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. You know, the reason why this time is very special for me, and the reason why I told my team that I wanted to do this on February 21st, for a couple of different reasons. One, today is the day that represents the assassination of Malcolm X. That's number one. Number two, the February 22nd is the death of my mother. My mother passed away February 22nd. Tomorrow it'll be 10 years. So I wanted to do something very special for that. And one of the two places that my mother would always take me to was the mosque and the library. The library, I mean, she dropped us off at the library like it was a daycare center. Just stay here, you know. And we stayed there, man. And Larice, man, we would read books, man, and read about, I didn't know that even though I was living on Superior, I felt inferior. And how many of our young people, how many people who live on Superior but don't feel superior? Yeah, it's very important. So the library was always a place of great benefit for me and my siblings. And we would go there and I would read books about Australia. And one day I was walking around Sydney, Australia, and I'm like, yo, man, I've been here before. At least in my mind. So the library is what they call the People's University. And one of the gentlemen, man, who I've been really working with, the great guy, man, who is the director of Cleveland Public Library, and you see the work that's being done. Ward 7 will be home of a new library. All right, make some noise for that. We got a new library. And that's not just something that happens. I want you to know right now that the things that you see happening in Ward 7, it don't just happen. It's work, man. It's work. And you all know that because you've been working for a very long time. Director Felton Thomas, man, has been doing a phenomenal job, and I want you to give a round of applause to our director of Cleveland Public Library, Director Felton Thomas. Appreciate you.
Hope you feel better,
man.
brother.
Of course, I will. Thank you so much. We got some special things coming up. We had a meeting, and how many of you ever seen the Superior Library? You've seen the Superior Library. So I said, Director, man, we got to take those fences down, man. So those fences that you see on Superior Branch Library, they'll be removed, and you're going to see a big, beautiful mural on the Superior Branch Library. And of course, as I said, a brand new library. So Director Thomas, thank you for your work. This young lady right here, I've been knowing her since I was a little boy. And back when we used to play basketball in the Blue Gym on Lexington. If you know about the Blue Gym on Lexington, Fatima. And we've been knowing her for so long, and she has been a dedicated member of Ward 7. Yeah, she's been a dedicated member of Ward 7, and she has been running Fatima for at least 250 years, at least. No doubt about it. I don't think that she's here today. I don't think that she could make it today. She is here. Where's she at? Oh, she bounced. Of course, that's how she do. She don't wait for nobody. Oh, another event. That's more important than this one, huh? Anyway, so that at Fatima, okay, good. And that is for Miss LaJean Ray. So you can make a round of applause for her, Miss LaJean Ray. Thank you. What's up, Pop? Are you all right? All right. You know, you learn a lot about a person when you battle them. In war, you can learn a lot about people. Some people don't fight fair. They don't fight fair. But there's others who fight fair. And this gentleman was at first someone who was an opponent and now has become one of my dearest advisors. He's the founder of Huff Chateau. How many of you heard of Huff Chateau before? And not only that, and a masterful writer, and I know because I was a victim of it at one point. Him and I joke about that from time to time. But this guy, man, has become one of my greatest advisors, brilliant mind and someone who is dedicated to making Ward 7 a better place. I want you to make some noise for Mr. Mansfield Frazier.
Picked on you.
I love you, man. I love you. Great. And do we have someone here from them? Okay, so let's go. All right, good. So I don't know if you know, but now Ward 7 is home to the only free clinic in Cleveland, Ohio. Did you know that? The only free clinic in city of Cleveland resides right here in Ward 7. And this young lady and her whole team of doctors said, you know what? We don't want to just drive through Ward 7 to get to work. We want to begin to have an impact on the very neighborhoods that we're driving past. And this is something that I'm so very excited about. The residents, and not just the residents of Ward 7, but people in general are able to go to this clinic and receive the help that they need. I want to say thank you so much to Ms. Mecca East for the creation of Salam Clinic.
Thank you.
All right, a couple more, then we're done. All right. This gentleman right here is, you know, sometimes we get into the habit of not appreciating people even if they may disagree with you. Like sometimes we're going to disagree with each other, but we don't have to become disagreeable. And that's what we wanted to change. One of my goals was to change the culture of how we do business here in Ward 7. That it's okay for us not to agree all the time, as long as we don't become hateful towards one another. Because we all have the same goal in mind. I believe that. I believe that we all want to see this neighborhood do better. Do you agree with that? We all agree with that, right? So at some point, with us agreeing about that, we should be able to come to the same understanding. And this gentleman right here, man, there's no resident in Ward 7, not one. And I'm not saying this as a challenge because I want you to do it, Pops. I'm not saying that. There's no one that emails me more than this guy. No one. Nobody. Okay? And initially I was like, goodness gracious, man. It's a problem after a problem. I'm like, are we getting anywhere? And then I had a moment of clarity where I said, you know what? This gentleman is assisting me in making this neighborhood better. Instead of looking at it in a negative light, the Creator blessed me to begin to look at it in a positive light. And honestly, if there was like a deputy councilman, he would be it. He would be it. And I really appreciate him and his dedication to make this neighborhood better. And that is for Mr. Terry Mcneil, man. Terry, come on up here, man. Thank you, brother. Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate what you're doing. And of course, this is the last one. And it's somebody who is beloved to my heart. You know, one of my favorite artists, but also one of my closest brothers, man. This guy, man, he's a special spirit. He really is. I call him the Tupac of our generation, for real, man. And the fact is that he's right here from Ward 7. You know, him and I, we went to school together. Not this one. We went to a better one. I know we got some bombers in here. We went to Martin Luther King High School together. And not only do we share a passion and love for the growth of our community, but also we share the fact that we both lost our mothers. And just a creative genius and someone who's dedicated to make a change through music. I want you all to make some noise for one of my close brothers, man. His name is Carlos Addison, but we also call him Connie's son, man. All right? Love you, brother. Love you, baby. Love you. I appreciate you. Love you, bro. It's for you. Ready? Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. All right, next, please enjoy a video depiction of what has occurred since the last State of the Ward. Thank you.
But one city isn't done with their election, and that's the city of Cleveland. Cleveland has a chance to elect the first Muslim American to Cleveland City Council, Basheer Jones from Ward 7.
Originally from Brooklyn, New York, when my family moved here to Cleveland, Ohio, we lived not too far away at a place called the Salvation Army. Parts that may not change the world, but may inspire the person that will. And what we must do when we look at our young people, we must look at the why and not the what. Many people look at our young people and we see that jails are in better shapes than schools. We see that casinos are in better shapes than schools. So what are we preparing our young people for? So I believe that if I start with them, if I start with the young people, then I still have a chance to change the world. So many times, community members, we are silent with our anger, silent in our frustration, we believe that, politicians just don't care about us. They just don't care. But the reality is that we as a community have to show that something is important to us before someone believes it's important to them. We need immediate change of the inhumane conditions of the Cuyahoga County Jail.
Flanked by community leaders, families, and former inmates, Cleveland City Councilman Basheer Jones urged county and state leaders to make urgent changes at the Cuyahoga County Jail.
This is the community that raised me, so I represent the best of what this community created. I'm not doing this for quote-unquote results, because maybe I won't live to see the results. But that don't mean that the seeds are not important to be planted. What role will you play? Because everybody got to play a role. So I pray and I ask that you go and you inspire and you motivate everyone, despite what they look like, despite their religion, and despite where they come from. Because if you do that, you will change the world one young person at a time.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our Councilman of Ward 7 and Cleveland's son, Councilman Basheer Jones.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, man. Oh. Make me cry. Thank you so much. I want to say that your presence here means so much, and my team and I have been working so hard to take good care of you. And you mean the world. I want to say that we've been making a lot of history. This young lady right here who did our prayer, she is the first African American, the first woman housing court judge. Make some noise for Judge Monet Scott. And Ward 7 played a major, major part in that. A major part in that. I want to just say thank you to a couple of people who are here. Before we get started with this slide, Vaughn and Charlie, can y'all come up here for a second? Come on up here for a quick second. Come on up here. If you are a young person that grew up in this neighborhood, if you grew up in this neighborhood right here, there's no doubt about it that you know these two individuals right here. And make some noise as they come on down. The price is right. As we begin, the only way that we are going to make a change is it takes people who are dedicated to a community. Charlie and Vaughn, man, they've been a part of this community working over at Thurgood Marshall Recreation Center for, you want to tell them, Charlie, how long? No, all right. for a long time, for a while. And all of the young people who have come from up under their wings have gone off. If you come to Thurgood Marshall and you go inside Vaughn's office, man, he got pictures all across his office of young people who he have impacted and inspired, and people who are inspired by him. And I love him so much because every single time I see him and I, we emotional, we both emotional, you know what I mean? So he'll grab me, because ain't nothing like a man saying, I love you. It's nothing like it. And he'll grab me, and no matter what I'm doing, he'll say, come here. And he has a picture of me back when I was in high school, Pops, when my jumper was crazy, okay? It was crazy. But anyway, and I signed it when I was a young boy, and he always brings me to his office to show me how far that I've come. And I just appreciate you, man, for speaking life into me the way that you have, brother. I love you so much, man. And Charlie, I thank you for doing all that you've done for our community, young boys, young girls. You've inspired us, and you could have been walked away, right? Right? And you daggone sure don't get the money you deserve. So I know that there got to be a passion behind that. And I wanted to take a moment to honor you both in front of our community. Love you all. Love you. Love you. Love you. Love you. Love you, bro. Love you. All right. Sounds good. So this is our State of the Ward address. Do I have a clicker or anything? I want to say thank you so much. Come here, Kat. Kat she did this whole presentation that you're about to see. She did the whole thing. Make some noise for Kat. And she did a fantastic, fantastic job, man. I just appreciate her. One of the things that I'm really excited about is that us being in office, the amount of young people who have been inspired to do more work in the community and to feel strength and feel strong and feel courage. And this young lady is one of them. So, Kat, thank you for this. Thank you so much. Thank you. For my precinct committee members, if you can stand up. Precinct committee members, if you are a precinct committee member, please stand up. Thank you so much for your work. This gentleman right here, our state rep, come on up here, Terrence, please. Come on up here, brother. Come on. This is our state rep, Terrence Upchurch. I know, I got you, Steph. Want me to save the best for last or what, Steph? What you want me to do? So, Brother Terrence, man, him and I are doing some amazing, amazing things right now because, as you can tell, one of the things, a lot of change don't just start within the community, but it's also what we do outside of the city of Cleveland. So in meaning that, you know, we recently decriminalized marijuana here in the city of Cleveland. Did you see that? So now, that don't mean, hold on, let me say this real fast. That don't mean get pounds, okay? But 100 grams and below. So I don't want you at home like measuring it or nothing like that. You know, but anyway. So what we're trying to do is, and what we're hoping for our state reps, is that what we can do on a state level side is that now marijuana has become legal across the country, and now the majority of business owners of marijuana companies are white men. And the very people that's been hurt by it more than anybody is black men. So what we want to do is see an expungement. We need that on the state level. State rep, thank you so much, man. Appreciate you.
The bad suit you got on.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. I knew you was coming, man. And of course, our homegrown, our state rep here in our community, man. Wonderful, wonderful young lady. And you know her, I know her well. And she comes from a legacy of great women who have served our community. And that's our state rep, Stephanie House. If you could stand up. Raise your hand. That's one of the very few people who can call me and curse me out. That's her right there. There's very few, so don't try it. All right, so this is our State of the Ward address, if we can go. The purpose of what we are trying to accomplish, our mission, is to empower individuals to live a purpose-driven life. One of the things that I'm really excited about is the culture is changing here in Ward 7. The culture is changing around education. For example, you have young people come up to me and they be like, Basheer, guess what? Guess what, man? I got all A's. So excited. Or because they want a bike. But whatever. Whatever they want, Aisha. I just want them to know that we reward the good. We reward hard work. Even though media pays attention to young people when they make mistakes, we have to do a better job, Dennis, in giving love to those who are doing good. So when your children bring their report card to you, don't just wipe it away. Make it like it's the biggest thing that ever happened. Why? Because then they are searching for your attention. They're searching for your love. All right? So we want to empower individuals to live a purpose-driven life. So how we do that? We want for our neighborhood, if it's going to be strong, if it's going to be healthy, we got to have economic stability. There must be social and community cohesion. There has to be this strength around neighborhood and environment, healthcare, education. These are all social determinants of health. So if you've been watching TV 20, it's must-see TV now. I don't know. You got to watch it. It's crazy. I've been going off. You got to tune in. But think about this for a second. Many of you are environmentalists, so I hope, if you're not, that you become it. And you know that if certain things are missing in the environment, it is a sign of an unhealthy environment. If a certain flowers, if a certain, like if we don't see birds, it's a problem. If you don't see frogs, or if you don't see, like if we just stop seeing animals, that is a sign that we need to follow the cats and the raccoons wherever they went, because they obviously know that something is on the way. You know that. So we understand that if something is missing in the environment, it has a domino effect. They'll tell you like, yo, do not bring, if you ever travel internationally, you better not bring no animals into this country. How many of you traveled internationally before? If you read it, they say, do you have new flowers? Have you been in contact with these type of animals? You remember that? Why? Because it can impact the whole environment. Look at the coronavirus, right? Just one sick person, it can impact the whole society. So we understand that even though it may not be a big deal to you, that there's not one woman who is in the division of fire. That may not mean anything to you or to our cousins and them. But what impact does it have on a society? One arrest. I'll give you an example. Khalif Browder, you heard that story? He got arrested, went to jail, didn't do it, went to Rikers Island for 3 or 5 years, something like that, got out, and then what happened? Committed suicide. One death, Tamir Rice, one Timothy Russell, Melissa. But then the issue is, it ain't just one situation. It's situation after situation after situation. It's compounded. What impact does it have on a family when a father gets arrested and put into jail, and the only reason why he can't get out because he doesn't have the money to pay the bail? What impact does that have on the community? Are y'all with me right now? Brother Richardson, you with me? Oh yeah. What impact does this have? The trauma of a mother who has to bury her son. You ain't seen nothing until you've seen the casket of a baby. You ain't seen nothing. The amount of funerals that we've had to pay for. You ain't seen nothing until you haven't heard nothing until you heard the sobbing of a mother and her baby who was just shot and killed. Right? So what impact does this compounded trauma have on not only a family, but an entire community? Are y'all rolling with me right now? Are you with me? It's a problem that we are right behind Cleveland Clinic, but we have the highest black infant mortality rates. That's a problem. So I had a group of people who came to the table. I'm on the health committee, and they wanted to talk about black infant mortality. But it wasn't one black woman at the table. So I said, before we get started, I'm letting you know right now, if you don't start with the conversation that structural racism is a real thing, then we ain't got nothing to talk about. Yeah. Let me tell you, this has to be a multicultural effort, okay? Black people can't be the only ones talking about black issues. It must be a multicultural effort. As I told my friends, my colleagues, I said to them, one colleague, he said, well, won't people just stop breaking the law? I said, the difference between where you come from, where I come from, that we don't have to break the law to be killed. That's the difference. But deeper than that, even if it's not your reality, it's somebody's reality. So should you not be empathetic to it? Even if it's something that you don't go through, somebody going through it. Until we become empathetic to humanity, then we won't be successful. Until your pain becomes my pain and your joy becomes my joy, then as a community, we will always be divided. Because now your next door neighbor's pain ain't your pain. Your next door neighbor's hunger ain't your hunger. So you know what ends up happening? Because you lack empathy for your next door neighbor, then your next door neighbor lacks empathy for you. And now when you're away, your next door neighbor in your house taking your food. You see, it was a crisis. The housing crisis was a crisis for us for a long time. But it wasn't a crisis to some until it hit their house. It wasn't a crisis until it hit Beechwood and Solon. It wasn't a crisis until it hit, but we've been feeling it on St. Clair and Superior. We've been feeling it. We don't need no data, and no, we don't need that. The data is our everyday lives that we're suffering. But until it means something to you, then it don't mean nothing. And this is extremely important for you and for I. So what are we doing as far as education? One of the things that we've been doing is creating computer labs. So we created a computer lab at the Huff Multipurpose Center along with my brother, Seti Richardson. If you want to know a person who is working hard to fight against recidivism, gentleman right there, stand up, Mr. Seti Richardson, please. Give him a round of applause. Every day this brother is fighting to make sure our cousins and family and friends who are coming from behind them walls, he's making sure he's helping them so that they don't return. So we created computer labs. And of course we had to start at one of my favorite places, which was Addison Square Apartments. Miss Auntie Marie, what's up, Auntie? What's going on? So we created computer labs along with Digital C. I don't know if we have any representation. Well, Angie, we have some representation from Digital C. So what we did was we created a computer lab at one of our senior high-rise buildings. Because many of our seniors, they're in these locations, but they don't get out much. They're in their apartments, right? So people, in my opinion, die long before they have to. So we got to give them something to do. We got to expose them to the outside world. So what we did was we created a computer lab at the Addison Senior High-Rise, and with the help of Digital C, many of our seniors who took the classes, they now are certified and computer literate. So now they can go, they become assistants, they can do this, they can do that, with the help of Digital C. The next thing we did is that and when I say we, I really mean with Famikos and myself and my team, is that we paid for the senior dues for MLK High School. So MLK High School, as you know, the school is closing, but we wanted to do something very special for the seniors there. We want to do something very special. So what we did was we paid all their senior dues. Now, $200 may not be a lot to you, but for many of our seniors, it could absolutely mean not graduating. So we paid close to $10,000 for all of the seniors so that they can make sure they graduate. Every year, we do our back to school drive. And for the past 2 years, every year we give out 1,000 bags, 1,000 book bags. So as of 2019, we gave out 2,000 book bags to the community so they don't have to worry about, you'll be surprised, man. Once again, I'm talking about compound impact. And I'm telling everybody in here, don't ever diminish a good action. Because you never know what it could do for people. Something as small as a smile, something as small as a book bag. You never know what it can do for a person and what decisions that they don't have to make as a result of you taking care of that need. Are y'all with me? Let me say it again. Even if it's a smile, how you doing, brother? Even you have young people who walk past some of us and we don't say a thing to them. Richard Allen, he has a book called The Invisible Boy. We treat our young people like they're invisible, and then you wonder why they treat you like you're invisible. They walk past you, you don't say nothing to them. Or if you do, boy, pull up your pants. You don't even know his name. You don't know where he come from. You don't know his situation. You don't know his struggle. But you've already given him the medicine. It's like these pharmaceutical commercials. You see these pharmaceutical, I hate them. We got to do something about this. Lady, she jogging, walking her dog, all smiley face. But if you listen to it, yeah, if you take this medicine, you can die. So I was watching it, I'm like, so somebody died. Because you don't notice until, like somebody must have died from this. So in order for us to make a change, you must first understand the condition of the people that you're dealing with. How do you make a change if you don't understand the language of the people? Very important. You got to know the language. So in regards to education, I want to give a big shout out, and I don't know if Aronde East left out, but he has been our educational director. And what we've done is we've established, with the help of Signet Realty, Dennis, if you guys can stand up. How many of you seen the new building that we're building on Ansel and Huff? How many of you guys seen that, the new building? You haven't? Well, welcome to Ward 7. You got to drive around. So Signet Real Estate is building the student housing on Ansel and Huff. And some of the things that we ask, that the community asks from them is that, we don't want this building to be the newest building on the block. So what they did was provided resources for us to fix homes of the seniors in the neighborhood. So people got new roofs and new bathrooms and new stuff, okay? So it's a blessing. So another thing that they did that I'm really excited about is establish 10 student interns. Because what I want to do is, okay, so one of the issues I have with the city is the lack of diversity. It's a lack of diversity. And has been for a long time, by the way. I was talking to one of my elder councilmen. I said, how y'all let this happen, man? No diversity? I don't care about a minority face if everything else is messed up. One blade of grass don't make the lawn look greener. So you put a minority face as the head, but the whole body is sick. So we got to see diversity. The city of Cleveland must represent the demographics of this city. Must. There's no reason why it shouldn't. There's no reason why it can't. And it will, I promise you that. So another thing that we did was established Focused Minds after school tutoring program. Aronde East, Aronde, you here? Please stand up, man, stand up. Please give him a round of applause. Every day, basically every day, he runs a tutoring program for us. And a lot of the children come to the tutoring program, and you're seeing kids who couldn't read now able to read. You're seeing, there was a time that knowing how to read could mean death. Y'all know that? So not only are we supporting efforts like that, but Rhonda and Wayne, if you can stand up. Rhonda, stand up. Wayne, please stand up, please. We have Huff Reads. I don't know if you heard of Huff Reads. Huff Huff Reads is an effort that these two amazing people came up with where we're focusing on literacy. If you drive down Huff, you see these big, beautiful banners. You'll see my cheesy face up there, right? But why is this important? Some of the numbers say that Huff neighborhood, 95% illiterate. Sometimes I go to places and I'm like, yo, I don't know what I would do if I couldn't read. But reading, reading is not only that, but reading also means comprehension, being able to comprehend, right? Very important, all right? So what we did is we partnered with a group called Aspire. How many of you heard of Aspire? So now what we do is we do a GED program. So not only are we tutoring our babies, but you can't make the full change until you also educate the parents. So what we did was establish and increase adult basic skills and GED programs, and now we are getting ready to have very soon the first graduating class from the GED program. This is very good. Health and wellness. When I became councilman, the first thing when I came to Director Analifo that I wanted to do was I wanted to start a food distribution program in honor of my mother. My mother, as I told you, 10 years ago, tomorrow would be 10 years since she's physically transitioned. But one of the things that we would do, man, we would be at programs like this. And we didn't have no dinner, until the 1st and 15th, you know what I'm talking about. But y'all bougie. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Some of y'all look like, what, 1st and 15th? What's that? Okay, it's all good. So it was places like this, Mixed Bickerstaff. It was places like this that we got dinner from. And we didn't have no food, but it was places like this that made sure that we ate. So the first thing we want to do was establish our health and wellness. 1,000 turkeys. We gave away 1,000 turkeys last Thanksgiving. And guess what? We actually needed a whole lot more. If you only knew the amount of suffering that we are in, $1 million wouldn't be enough. It wouldn't be enough. It wouldn't be enough. So we gave away 1,000 turkeys. Since we got into office, we have served over 8,000 or more. We serve 1,000 people. Yeah, 2019, we've served 8,000, right, individuals. We've distributed over 100,000 pounds of food with us working with the Cleveland Food Bank, us working with those great people over there. We've been able to give out over 100,000 pounds of food to Ward 7 residents. So not only once a month, but residents can come to our center and eat and get food any day of the week as long as food is there. I also want to thank Mr. Arthur Fain. If you could stand up, Arthur, man. Arthur Fain is the owner of the East Side Market. And the East Side Market also gives us food. So now, not just food bank food, but we got like the good stuff. Like we had some ribs, man. We had one month, I'm like, man, I'm gonna take this home. But no, I didn't do it. I'm just joking. So I appreciate Arthur Fain. So we are focused on feeding the people. When people are hungry, it's hard to be your best self when you're starving. So in our community, you always have places that you can go to get food. Health and wellness. As I said, we partnered with the Islamic Center of Cleveland to establish the only health clinic in the city of Cleveland, right off of 75th and Euclid. We also established something called the Seniors Fitness Program. So residents at Eliza Bryant, Bond Tower, Kingsbury, and Addison, we send a fitness instructor there. So the residents there, they come and they get their fitness on, right? They feel good, they feel better. So even though I may not be physically there, I have such an amazing team that we make sure that wherever our people are, we want to try to be of benefit to them. And I'm gonna tell you, we was thinking about stopping the program, and I got so many phone calls, I said, I'm sorry. Another thing that we did was establish, for neighborhood and safety, we established Lunch with Cops. But I want you to know that even though I fight for diversity, as I will continue to do, don't get it twisted. I love and appreciate Cleveland Police Department, all right? I appreciate them. I thank them. They put their lives on the line for us every single day. I have some officers in the back. Can you guys just come up here? Just come on up here for 1 second so my people can just give them a round of applause. Come on up here. Come on up here. I know you wasn't planning on that. Come on up here, man. Keep clapping for them. Come on. Give their lives, man. They put their lives on the line for us, man. I want to make sure that we honor them, man. What's up, brother? How you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for being here, brother. My man, what's up, man? Good to see you. How you doing, sister? How you doing? Good to see you. How you doing, my friend? Babe, what's up, baby? It's all good. So I want you to know that these are the people that put their lives on the line for us every day. And we can say whatever we want, but when you call them, you hope they come. And I appreciate them. I appreciate that. I ain't listening to that right now. I appreciate that. And I'm thankful to them. And this guy right here, man, we went to school together, right? At MLK High School, man. And Mr. Bobby Sumner, Officer Bobby Sumner, I'm sorry, is his name. And one day he'll be the chief of police. You know what I'm saying? But the reason why this is important is because as we challenge the leadership of the city, we want to see people who have a competence in how to deal with the community. But you can't deal with the community like we in the Gaza Strip, right? We're not trying to be policed. We want to be served, right? You go to certain neighborhoods, it's a different relationship with police. In our neighborhoods, we see police, we want to go the other way. Not even that you did something wrong. You just feel like it. I mean, sometimes if I'm driving, I get post-traumatic stress syndrome, right? And I know I ain't do nothing wrong, well, I think, you know? So once again, we all have that trauma, but the way that we want to get rid of that trauma is what we did was we established lunch with the cops for the Cleveland district. So now residents can come and recognize that these are regular people just like you. They want to get home just like you. They love their families just like you, right? But there's a divide in regards to communication. And we have to do a better job on both sides in how we communicate with one another. Very important. Please give them another round of applause. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, stay right there. Don't go nowhere. We established something in Ward 7 called the Clean Business Award. So businesses that keep their area clean, we give them awards. We say thank you. We appreciate you. And those who don't, they get a different certificate. From the housing Georgia, the housing court judge, just from all types of people. We only going to tell you once, too. We're not going to have a lot of conversations. Keep your business clean. And some businesses we've shut down. Some businesses we shut down. Alibi Inn, giving us a lot of trouble. We had to shut the business down. It's another one that's on the chopping block right now. Got to shut it down. Why? Because you have to you taking our money, so you better treat us with the dignity that we deserve. And if you don't treat us with the dignity that we deserve, well, we can't shut you down for that, but we'll find a reason. So, we'll find a reason. There's always a reason, for sure. Another thing that I really pride myself on, man, and Los, man, if you come up here for a second again. This is a brother who's not only just a creative genius, but very well respected in the streets of Cleveland, okay? I don't want to say streets to you. What's a better word? Only word. Yeah, okay, well, I'll just say that. So he's very well respected. So sometimes a situation might happen. Okay, I don't want to put you out there like that, but let me just say we work together to make sure our community is a better place. And we have to have these type of relationships with people who you don't think to have a relationship with. You can't think like, oh, I don't have anything in common with him. Because you do, because we all want this community to be better. Even those young guys that you drive past and you might think, well, there's no way I have anything in common with them. You'd be surprised. They got mothers like you, they got fathers like you, they have children like you, right? They love the community. They may show their love in a different way, but they love the community. So if I have a situation, or maybe there's a beef, altercations between two disagreements. There might be disagreements. There might be disagreements between two groups of people. And what I do is, hey, Los, man, I need your assistance, brother. I got to sit down this person right here, and I got to sit down this person right here. Can you bring them together? And this brother, man, he'll call me back in 5 minutes. It's done, man. It's done. And I'll go in the middle of the night sometimes, and we'll go and have dialogue. Hey, listen, brother, you can't do this, man. Right? You causing these problems. Because particularly on Huff, for my folks, Huff is two different sides. Now, some of you may think like, oh, no, it's just one street. And it's like, oh, it's just 1 mile apart. Like, no, it's literally two different sections. Much trouble. So it takes people like a Carlos Anderson, who, if I can, was one of those people who was mistreated by the system that is supposed to uplift us. Carlos was arrested. You mind? Carlos was arrested on a false charge of shooting somewhere. They said he had dreads and all that. And then I said, well, number one, I ain't never known him to have no dreads. Had him locked up. How long you was in there, brother? 7 months. And while he was in there, he lost his mother. He lost his mother. A system that is supposed to be for justice is being used to suppress some. So what I said to Channel 19, because as my brother was in a situation, Cleveland.com came out with a story. You know, that's what they do. You've been arrested, the media goes, and really, you don't even get sentenced and charged because you guilty or that. Sometimes the media creates a whole narrative that before you even come in front of the judge already got in their mind what they're gonna do because of the media. So we called them, hey man, you don't know Carlos. He does this, he does that. All the summer basketball leagues in Ward 7, he does this. Where in the neighborhood, people who come from different parts of the neighborhood come play basketball and they don't fight not even a little bit because of the respect that they have for him. This is the person right here. And of course they changed the story and blah, 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 blah. Told Channel 19 the same thing. Channel 19, how do you put him on there? Matter of fact, not just Carlos. Why do you put people on there for what they've been charged with, but you don't put them back on there when they have been labeled, when they're innocent? So, who I call? I call Harry Boomer. I said, Harry, you got to do something about this, man. They put Carlos on there. He didn't do it. Blah, 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 blah. So at least Mr. Rubin, who's the news director, at least put him back on there and give him that minute to say that you were wrong for putting him on it. Now, of course, as you know, the damage is already done. Like most of the times it is. But as a community, what we must do is that we can't let these, what you may consider small injustices, go away. We have to put it in their face and say, no, you can't do that, and you won't do that. So I wanted to again honor him again, man, not only for his work and his courage, but also his love for this community, man. My brother, man. My brother. Love you, man. All right, you go to the next one. So we fought, and now Ward 7 has over 200 security cameras in the neighborhood. Over 200 security. Before it was like 5 or something like that. And 2 of them was on Huff between, well, I ain't gonna tell you, but, well, you probably see the blinking lights, right on between where Kingsbury is, 93rd, and the other area. So we didn't have no cameras. So we said, we have to do something better. We gotta do something to have a safer community. You know, our elders must feel better and feel safer. So now we have over 200 street security cameras in Ward 7, all right? We also fought, and now we also have, as far as our officers, what I did was I met with the chief of every district. Ward 7 is a very special place in regards of where we are, because not only do we have CPD, we got CMSD, all right? We got Case Western Reserve, we got Cleveland State Police, we got Tenable, we got this, we got that. We got all these different, but they don't work together. I mean, we only got one jail, and Cleveland don't even got a jail no more, right? So now you get arrested as a Clevelander, you go right to the county. That's a problem. So now you got arrested for traffic or whatever, and now you in jail with somebody who got arrested for murder. Right? It ain't no distinction. So once again, what impact does that have on the trauma of that person who got to experience that? I don't know how many of you have been down to the county, for a visit, but I can tell you, unconstitutional what's happening down there. And your brother, your councilman, was the only one that stood on them steps along with other people. There was nobody else that joined us. This is very important. All right, and of course we got together with the Cleveland Police Foundation on implementing community safe initiatives. All right, we almost done. We're working with Dunham Tavern. You have Dunham Tavern here. Ward 7 is a very special place, very special. We got the oldest structure in the city in Dunham Tavern. We got the oldest baseball park, one of the oldest baseball parks in the country in League Park. Right now, I thought I saw Kathleen. Kathleen from the Cleveland Restoration Society. Raise your hand, Kathleen. Gee, I love her so much. She is amazing. Kathleen and I, Cleveland Restoration Society, we're doing something very special. And actually, this is their idea. I'm just assisting. Two things that I'm very excited about. One, on Lexington Avenue, do you know that Lexington Avenue used to be called Moses Avenue? And it was named after a man by the name of Luther Moses. And Luther Moses' house is on Lexington. And it was built in 1859, 54, 32, 4, 5, 15, 45, 47, okay. So 18 something. One of the oldest structures in the city of Cleveland. So you got Lexington, you got Dunham Tavern, and 55th used to be called Wilson Avenue. That's why the school was called Wilson. It was named after Wilson. So we're working with Dunham Tavern. We had a beautiful event. We took residents to Detroit for the African American Museum, and we took a couple of buses to Washington, D.C. for the African American Museum. An amazing, amazing time that we had. We also host, as the springtime comes, we host bi-weekly movie nights. How many of you come out to the movie night that we have? You gotta come, man. It's so nice, man. It's so nice. Yeah, okay, 5 people clap. Okay, it's all right. So, along with the support from Famicos, man, we do a senior lawn care snow removal program that is assisting our seniors and disabled residents. We extended our Ward 7 festival from 1 day to 3 days, and we changed the name from A Brighter Day on Huff to A Brighter Day, or New Day in Huff to A Brighter Day in Ward 7. And what we wanted to do was extend it from 1 to 3 days because we wanted to hit different parts of the ward. Because as we know, sad to say, some people don't come to all different parts. We hosted the first annual Kwanzaa event at City Hall. It hasn't ever been one before. We hosted it this year. Thanks. All right. Okay, let's keep going because I'm getting tired. All right. We done did so much, man. I mean, we'll send this to you if you like. So, okay, go back. Okay, cool. Street surfacing. We've invested over $2 million in street surfacing. And if you say, not my street, don't worry. Okay, we coming. We established 3 new parks in Ward 7. 3 new parks. So we have the park where behind Daniel E. Morgan. It's a park there we established. We established in a park right now on Pennsylvania Avenue, and we established a park right next to Margaret Island. If you drive down 59th and Huff, there was the basketball court was falling over, and we created a new park. All right, we've invested over $8 million in Ward 7 recreation centers. Thurgood Marshall is getting ready to get a brand new, like a facelift over there. All right, it's a brand new facelift about to happen at Thurgood Marshall. Because we can't tell our young people to stay off the corner, but we don't invest in places that they go to. I can't go get them off the corner until I first invest in places that they go to. Very important. So over $8 million in recreation centers. Kavasik, I'm sure you heard, if you watch the news. I'm always causing trouble. Yeah. Well, I wanted to change Kavasik into Muhammad Ali Recreation Center. But yeah, I know it. It ain't gonna happen, but I got a chance to learn about who Kavasik was. And Kavasik was a great man. And I didn't know that. I mean, all these years I've been going to Kavasik, I never even knew who Kavasik was. But he was a great councilman who represented very well for the Slovenian community. And my goal is not to remove anybody's heroes. My issue is if your hero was my terrorist, then I want to remove him. But if that's not the case, then we let you stay. All right, no doubt about it. Ward 7 Mural Project, Brandon, where you at, man? Stand up, man. This amazing artist, right? All the murals that you've been seeing is this guy right here. Stand up, brother, stand up. There you go. How many of you seen the energy boxes where we had Tamir Rice and you have Trayvon Martin on one on Huff, or you have the energy box right on Superior, 60-something in Superior, that beautiful chocolate baby. You seen that? That gentleman right there. And you've seen that mural on the side on Huff. I don't know if you've seen the big mural on 55th, and we got about 5 more that we're gonna put up. And the reason why this is important to me is because art has a way of waking people up out of a daze. Art has a way of, W.E.B. Du Bois, he said, art should be propaganda. And our goal is, we want to have our own propaganda. Yeah, very important. We also, Director Mark, if you could just stand up for a second, Mark, stand up. Director Mark Lamon, man, he's the director over at Campus District. So Campus District is down in Superior, close to Cleveland State. You've been seeing artwork on the poles, right? You've been seeing artwork around the place. You drive down Huff, I don't know where Dooley at, but you see the poles, black, red, black, and green, right? I don't know if y'all seen that. Yeah, all this stuff is, it's methodical, man, it's methodical. You're gonna know we was here. And what I wanna do before we go, you've been seeing all the energy boxes around, and whether it's in Asia Town, I want people to see themselves. I want people to see themselves. And if you're in this community, I want you to know that this is your community. This is your community. For my Asian brothers and sisters, this is your community. So what we did was we renamed one of the streets after an Asian American who was one of the biggest reasons that Asia Town is what it is. Now, let me say this reluctantly. I understand that Asia is a big continent. And we say Asia and we only think about Chinese. It's something, I was in London, when you say Asia there, they're talking about the Pakistanis, they're talking about Indians. But here, we think of Asia, we think of Chinese, Japanese. But anyway, we named the street after Mr. Stanley Ng, who did an amazing job in fighting. That's what I want to do. I want to find out who are your heroes, and let's highlight them. And it's a person who was my hero. And Brother Terrence, where you at? Brother Terrence, come on up here, man, because you assisted me with this. Brother Terrence is one of our precinct committee members. And one of the things that was important to me, if you know anything about Huff, people call Huff the place where the Huff riots took place. You ever heard of that? The Huff riots? Kathleen, what do we call them? What are we calling it, Kathleen? The Huff uprising. Yeah, isn't that a different word? It's a different word when you turn it from Huff riots to the Huff uprising. Yeah, that's where the Huff uprising took place. And along with the Cleveland Restoration Society, what we're getting ready, matter of fact, Kathleen, can you stand up and just say what we're getting ready to do?
We're going to create an African-American Civil Rights Trail in Cleveland.
Hold on, don't go nowhere. Hold on, Kathleen. But specifically, tell them about Huff. Why is that important for Huff?
We're going to mark the places where the most important events occurred, and obviously there will be one in Huff, and it will be called the Huff Uprising, and explained by scholars the difficult and contested history that it is.
That's right. So we're very excited with the Cleveland Restoration. Once again, it must be a multicultural effort if we're going to bring the change that we need in our community. And Kathleen has taught me things I didn't even know. I didn't even know about it. So Huff is going to be a historical marker there to tell us where the Huff uprising took place. But you have people like Ahmed Evans and Harlell Jones, the Afro Set, right? Some of y'all remember them Huff uprisings. Some of y'all still got them TVs. Oh, Wayne, you got one, huh? So the person that inspired, click it like, you know, the clicking TV. The person that inspired these people was Malcolm X. Malcolm X was the inspiration. The ballot or the bullet at Corey Methodist Church. He did his first speech, the ballot or the bullet, in Cleveland, Ohio. Cleveland is a very special place when it comes to movements in this country. UNIA, their Universal Negro Improvement Association, Marcus Garvey, their national headquarters was in Cleveland. Dr. King, he assisted Carl Stokes in becoming the first African-American mayor of a major city. You could not, why? When the slaves was running, Cleveland was a place that they wanted to come to. Yes. So what we wanted to do was we wanted to honor this great man. And the way that we honored him is that we have turned Crawford Avenue to Malcolm X Way. Yes. I want to thank Crawford Avenue. I want to thank Brother Terrence for his work. And I can tell you that the residents there were excited about it. Malcolm X was a person, for many of us, who you may get him confused if you didn't understand where he came from. Just like me. Some people look at me and they say, I just don't understand him. But what you can understand is the passion. And that's what Malcolm had. Malcolm from Omaha, Nebraska. If you've ever been to Omaha, like me, it's a cold place. Just like Cleveland. What was the difference between Malcolm and Martin? Martin was from a very warm place. You ain't never heard of northern hospitality. You heard of southern hospitality, but not northern. So, environment, Martin came from a warm place. Malcolm, from an environment, came from a cold place. Exposure. Malcolm felt the way he felt long before he joined the Nation of Islam. Why? His father was a Baptist minister from the Universal Negro Improvement Association. The struggles that he had with people, it started with, at a very young age. Where did he get his education from? Jail. What I'm saying to you is that if we're going to grow as a community, we have to get out of the habit of thinking we know everything. And you have to meet people where they are, not where you want them to be. And if we begin to look at people, not for where they are, but the potential, then ultimately I truly believe that we will have a more successful community. So we have given over $500,000 to 30 community and national organizations. Go to the next one. Daniel E. Morgan, over $38,000 to build that new basketball court. For youth reading program, building communities where children can read, over $15,000. Our code enforcement program, now we're gonna have somebody that travels through the community and making sure that businesses are looking the way they're supposed to look, and lots are clean the way they're supposed to be clean. And the problem that I have is that you have a lot of people who own property who are not even living in Cleveland in general. So they're not taking care of the property the way that they should. Go back, please. The next thing we do is our community health and safety program, over $20,000. Our summer safety film series, $15,000. Keep going. We've given $5,000. You're going real fast, Kat. Go back one more time. All right, so $5,000 we gave to the Asian Expo. $12,000 we gave to, what's the football team name? The Browns, 88th Street Browns, for their educational program as well as for new uniforms. $20,000 for the Huff Community Health and Safety Center, $15,000. Okay, go to next. We gave some resources to help support the animals, the city kennel. We gave $5,000 to the police department for mindfulness, right? Not only as community members are we dealing with trauma, but even our police officers are dealing with trauma as well. And maybe if there were some more mindfulness exercises, when they meet you and me, they'll look at us in a different way, right? Keep going. Go to the next thing. All right? The Heritage Home Program. We have a lot of historical homes that's in our community. Some of you have received some help from the Cleveland Restoration Society or the Heritage Home Society. Right? We gave some money for the Lead Safe Summit. We gave the Holiday Food Card Program, $35,000. Keep going. Okay, keep going. All right, and you can get a copy of this. I'll have a copy of this for you so that you can have it. One of the things I'm really excited about is that Eliza Bryant has a new Elder Justice Center. And the reason why this is so beautiful is because our elders are people that we have to take care of. And unfortunately, there are people who abuse their mothers and abuse their grandmothers and abuse their fathers. So the Eliza Bryant recently opened up an elder justice program that we are supporting. So I close and say to you, I thank you so much. I thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to serve you in this capacity. I want to say to everyone who is here, thank you for my directors, for my neighbors, that all of us together are going to be the reason why we are successful. What I want to do now, before we close and go get some food, is take a couple questions from you. Take a couple questions, then we go. A couple questions. Ms. Bickerstaff, go ahead. All right, now, come on. Yes. Yes.
I deal a lot with the consent decree because my brother, was killed by a Cleveland police officer, and my dad was a cop. My sister's a deputy chief in Pittsburgh, and I have a cousin on the force now. Yeah. So it's not like I'm a police hater. I just want justice to be approached in the right way.
Right, I'm with you. I agree with you. And justice happens in two ways. Justice happens on the side of a citizen, and also justice for our police officers. And, I think that for me as an activist, I made an unfortunate mistake of not seeing the humanity in police officers. And these are people who put on their badge, they put on their shoe. See, my issue is not necessarily bad officers. That's a problem. My issue is a system that awards bad officers. That's my problem. So we have to, and Cleveland does that. So what we have to do as residents is what we have to do is hold the system accountable. So I don't have an issue with police officers. My issue is with bad police officers that are supported by a bad system. And that's what we're doing. I'm on a safety committee, and I can tell you, if you watch any type of TV 20, you'll see the heck that I've been given the police department, the safety director, and others, that they have to do a better job, okay? Just two more questions, okay? And then we close. I didn't plan on taking any questions, but I know. Go ahead, Terry. What time is it?
I don't have a question. I just wanted to say I've been watching the budget hearings all week. And, I talk to people every day all over the city through the internet. And this thing with, city council doesn't do this, city council do that. Today, when you spoke to the Office of Equal Opportunity, and you asked them for how many contracts, city contracts, are going to minorities. This is the Office of Equal Opportunity. And they couldn't give you an answer. And so your reply, it was like me sitting there. And you had to stop yourself. Yeah. And regroup, because I know what you were getting ready to say.
I was about to curse, yeah.
So I'm taking this time to tell everybody that our councilman represents us. These budget hearings, if you get a chance to watch them, they're streamed on TV 20 all week. Watch these budget hearings, because we can't blame city council for everything. The administration has to pull their weight too. And city council is our eyes and ears. And I was so proud of you today when this came up. I'm telling you, it was like, I was like, no way. It's like me sitting there asking these questions. So I just want to tell you that, because I'm watching and I'm reading everything comes out of City Hall, so you know how I am.
I know it.
I'm gonna feed you information because we got to get this right.
Got to, man. I want to say to you all, I truly appreciate the opportunity to be here in front of you. I truly appreciate the opportunity to serve you. It's been my greatest joy, and I truly appreciate the opportunity to spend time with you on the day pre of my mother's transition. I thank you for your love. I thank you for your support. And I just want to close in saying, God, we thank you so much for giving us another day of life. Thank you for allowing us to recognize our purpose. And God, please give us the courage to fulfill our purpose and not be afraid of any man-made threats. We understand that they cannot destroy what they did not create. So God, we ask you to strengthen us, to guide us, and let love be the path that we walk. And we ask you to bless those who came before us, to bless Malcolm X, to bless all the righteous men and women who came before us, who planted seeds for us even before they even knew that we were to be in existence. And God, we ask you to bless our children, bless them to be better human beings than us, and for that process to continue generation after generation after generation. Because if we are not preparing our children for our departure, then we are not good parents, and we are not good men, and we are not good women. Strengthen us. Bless the soil of Ward 7. Bless the animals of Ward 7. Bless the grandparents. Bless the elders. Bless all those who even drive through Ward 7. Bless them as well. And let this be a blessed place, oh God, that when people come over 100 years from now, that they know that we existed. That they know that we existed. We say all of this in your amazing names. Amen. Amen. Thank you all so much. Thank you. Thank you.